Hi, and welcome to this week's e-lesson. Today we're going to be discussing how to transition goals. So if you're doing a body fat loss, how to transition into a reverse diet, when is the time? If you're doing a reverse diet, when is the time to transition into a body fat loss? Now that you're about 6 weeks into your macro counting journey, I bet that this is probably a question that you're wondering, whether you started with reverse diet and you're wondering how much longer should I go until I start a body fat loss, or if you've been doing a body fat loss phase and you are getting to the point where you're questioning, should I be starting a reverse diet or should I continue on with body fat loss? So today's video should hopefully answer those questions for you, so let's get started. Okay, so the first group of people that I want to address today are those who are in a body fat loss phase. So if you entered into this macro counting journey with body fat loss as your goal, then I want you to look at your numbers and figure out what percentage caloric deficit you are in right now so that you are able to know when you should begin to reverse diet. What we recommend here at Ledbetter is that you do not go past or beyond a 25% caloric deficit. The reason we suggest that is because once you are going above and beyond a 25% caloric deficit, you are risking damage to your metabolism, which will further slow down your metabolic ability to lose weight long term. We are all about making sure that this is a long-term health journey. It's not a short term. So what I advise for those who maybe cannot lose any more weight and you already are at a 25% caloric deficit, I advise that you do start a reverse diet. You can refer to the reverse dieting protocol in your Macro Counting Made Simple ebook, and then you can start your reverse dieting journey. Now, don't get discouraged. I know that some of you might have already reached your 25% caloric deficit and you're not at your goal weight. This is common, and this is something, especially if this is your first time going into a body fat loss phase without having previously reverse dieted, your metabolic ability to lose weight is a lot lower than what it will be once you continue to improve your metabolic ability through reverse dieting long term. So don't get discouraged, and I know that there will be bumps in the road when you do start out this journey. That might be one of them. Overcome it. I highly suggest that you do enter into a reverse diet instead of continuing to go above and beyond the 25% caloric deficit, because it does run a high risk that you will damage your metabolic ability to lose weight. Maybe you are losing weight and you're actually on your way to reaching your goal weight, and maybe you're at a 20% caloric deficit. You still have 5% more to get to that 25%. So I would encourage you to continue on to your body fat loss. If you can reach your goal weight before you hit that 25%, that would be awesome. And then begin a reverse diet, and slowly reverse diet and build your caloric intake back up, maintaining your weight on a higher amount of calories. That's the ideal situation. For those of you who might have started your macro counting journey in a reverse diet, I encourage you to continue to reverse diet until you are at least out of a caloric deficit. This means that you would reverse diet from your starting macros up until what your maintenance calories would be. So figure out your maintenance calories. Again, remember that your maintenance calories and all of the different benchmarks, those change as your weight changes. So make sure that you're updating those to make sure that you know what your maintenance calories are, is a caloric deficit for you, etc. So when you're in a reverse diet, what we recommend is definitely at least getting out of your caloric deficit into a maintenance calorie standpoint. When you reach your maintenance calories, that's when you have the opportunity to body fat loss phase if you want, or if you want to continue to build lean muscle mass, I would encourage you to continue going past that maintenance phase into a caloric surplus and building those lean muscle mass. When you are choosing one goal, so if your goal is to build up your calories and build lean muscle mass, stretch that goal as long as you can. Because when you're focusing on one goal and you're putting all your chips into that one goal, it's gonna be way more effective than doing kind of halfly doing a reverse diet only to get into a body fat loss phase, because you're not giving your body the time it needs to adjust to build that lean muscle mass. So if you want to, start to lean out, but also have a strong foundation of muscle, you need to take that time to build your caloric intake up into a caloric surplus. Do it slowly. Try and minimize your fat gains during your reverse diet, but really maximize your lean muscle mass gains. And then from there, if you think about once you get higher and higher in caloric intake for your reverse diet, you actually have a higher amount of calories to cut from when you do go into a body fat loss phase. And personally, I experienced this the second time that I went through a reverse diet. I reverse dieted all the way up. And then when I did cut down again, I was significantly leaner on a higher amount of calories than I was the first time doing a body fat loss. And that's just, you know, the more your metabolic rate gets more efficient, the more reverse diets you do, you're able to then cut on a higher amount of calories. So it makes your body fat loss phase a little bit more enjoyable. And for me, it has made it a lot more maintainable, because if I know that I want to lose a couple pounds, I don't have to significantly dip into a huge caloric deficit to do that, because my body is now responding. So I hope this gives you a little bit of insight as to how to transition goals from body fat loss phase to reverse diet, or reverse dieting to body fat loss, when to do it and whatnot. If you have any questions, again, feel free to leave in the comments in the community group. There has been hundreds of people that have successfully gone through both reverse diets and body fat loss. Some of them are in between. Some of them are about to change goals just like you. So I definitely encourage you to take advantage of that community in there. I look forward to seeing you guys next week for the topic of carb cycling and how to taper off excessive cardio. Have a great week, and I will see you guys in the community group.